Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Smith. Welcome to Litter Media Live, Pickaway County Special Edition. Today we have Marie Wilbanks. She is Director of Services for Pickaway County Board of DD. She's also President of Sunrise Rotary Club, and I think she's probably wearing a few other hats as well. We're going to cover all the bases and what she's up to in Pickaway County. Our special edition today brought to you by Hometown Motors Incorporated. Back with Marie right after this.
Now that's one fast mower.
Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
Back with Marie Wilbanks. Thanks for coming down today.
Thank you for having me.
Not your first time on this program.
No, I feel like I'm a regular at this point, right? I don't know how many times you need to be here to be a regular, but I'm calling myself one.
Now, we've been considering additional people, and we needed a good female.
That's
so
right,
you'd be the one.
Yeah.
You're losing her, Pickaway County, to Litter Media. Yeah. First of all, let's start out with your position with Sunrise Rotary.
Sure.
I saw that you had some things that were going on here. We recently did a story about Sunrise Rotary and the other Rotary clubs' involvement with the new Children's Museum that's under construction.
Yes. So Rotary, I think it's interesting. I don't know what its brand looks like down here necessarily, but I think people assume Rotary, which has been around for a very long time, is maybe a bit of a musty institution. Right? I had somebody tell me that one time. They said something along the lines of, "Oh, Rotary, my grandpa was in that." And your grandpa was in that. That's true.
Yeah.
But Rotary has really evolved, and in Pickaway County, and I can speak for my Rotary Club, but also Noon Rotary in Circleville, this is a very active group of people who contribute a lot to the community. So in particular, we just did a donation or a pledge for the Inspiration Station, the Children's Museum that's going in Circleville, and we were really excited to be part of that. That's a huge part of our community, and we were able to donate financially and with some volunteer hours and help make that a reality.
A lot of, for example, in Chillicothe, I think there's two Rotary clubs here as well, and they usually, each one has its own staple or moniker, so to speak, of the things that people identify them with. What are some of the things that Sunrise Rotary is oftentimes associated or affiliated with?
Well, we like to talk a little smack between Rotary clubs, if I'm being honest. So for Circleville Sunrise, so we're people who are dedicated to getting up at 7 a.m., which is slightly insane, I will admit that. But 7 a.m. weekly, and our projects are a really solid blend of community participation. We also have good international projects that we're participating in, and I like to think of us as being pretty high energy. We're a group of doers, which is cool. And what I've loved about Rotary, and I say this every time I talk about it, when I came into Rotary, what I found was a group of people who were interested in what I was interested in, so they embraced what I got excited about or the places in the community that I wanted to invest. And that's what I think you find when you go there. If you have something that you care about, right, Rotary's going to get excited to care about it too. So that's great.
I know a lot of Rotary clubs are involved with youth. Is it a four-way speech, or how does that?
Well, there's a couple different, yes. So there is a four-way speech. Now, I've not personally been able to, I want to go judge it. That's, I think, an opportunity that we have with Rotary. But there's a couple different places that you can plug in for youth. One of the activities that we have, not even activities, but one of the projects, I guess, we have a visiting high school student from Brazil who was with us for a year. Her name's Anna. She is delightful. I just taught her. She came down to my house because, she kind of moves around and meets everybody. Right. I taught her how to play Exploding Kittens, which is just, welcome to America. Here's a weird game.
I'm intrigued by that.
Right, yeah. No, it was a good time. But, just what an amazing opportunity to exchange across cultures. And she actually did a presentation 2 weeks ago about Brazil, where she's from. And it was a beautiful, very well put together presentation about, everything, the economy, the culture, the weather, so there are lots of places for Rotary for younger folks to get engaged and become our future leaders, hopefully.
Of course, Rotary Club, it's international.
Yes.
Is that the aspect of the international that you're talking about there?
Well, so No, actually. So our particular Rotary and Circleville Noon as well, one of the projects that we have that I'm very passionate about, so we in particular sponsor a program in Uganda. So just, this is a lot of information, but just to back up a little bit. So my sister actually lives in Uganda. She went there originally as part of a Peace Corps project in like 2008. So it's been a really long time. While she was there, she was asked to develop this orphanage. She still lives there. So she still lives in Kampala. And our Rotary clubs for the last couple of years have done district grants to provide the program with water, with transportation. We're looking at a solar project, a building, a compound so that people have a place to meet. So when we think about Rotary, it's international. I think it's like 1.4 million people worldwide, something along that. That's going to not be right. Sorry about that. But it's a really big program, and there are places to get plugged in all over the world. That, again, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it is a space for action, and it's creative, and it looks like whatever those local communities need, and you can get involved in these projects that are really exciting somewhere else, you know.
And you find out about people and on the other side of the planet, and you think, you know, you're not a lot different than me.
No, that's so true. We went to so when we went to Uganda, I went with a group of Rotarians it was 2021, I guess, and we went to one of their Rotary meetings. And I'll tell you, Rotarians across the globe like to talk. They like to make little speeches. That's, you know, apparently universal. I was like, oh, this is very familiar. We're talking, we're speeching. So yeah, that's very true.
Do they all ring the bell at the end of the meeting?
I'm trying to think, you know, that's funny. I don't know about the bell, and I wish I could remember, but I will tell you, pins. Rotary just has a collection of pins. We give out pins for everything. And you better believe they got so excited about these pins that we were bringing, these little flags. So it's a universal swag club, I guess we could call it. Yeah.
Well, as we introduced Marie, she's also Director of Services for Pickaway County Board of DD. A lot of people around the region remember Brooks Yates School. So how has program DD changed in Pickaway County?
Yeah, that's such a great question, because I've loved working in this field because I've watched it evolve even in the time that I've been working within the county board. The way that a lot of county boards got started, they were founded by parents, by a lot of moms who looked around and said, hey, my kids don't have places in this community. In particular, my kids aren't getting education, but that's not right. And so what I want to do is start a program for kids with special needs, usually in a church basement somewhere. And what grew out of that is this county board system, this kind of unique county board system that we have within Ohio. All 88 counties have their own flavor. But schools were part of the legacy of county boards. And if you look across Ohio, I think there's only 44 counties now that are actually running their own schools, their own standalone schools. And within each county, what county boards are doing for school services has evolved as well. So within Pickaway County, we no longer run Brooks Yates School. That no longer exists. And that's tough because that was a program that meant a lot to people. However, right, the way that we think about providing services has to change. We are always getting better at doing something. So right now, what we offer, we offer school services, and that looks like a couple different things. It looks like transition services, so we're helping kids who are within that like 14 to 22 year age range, and they're getting ready to exit school. I'm like, what does that look like? That's really nervous. That's a nervous place for a lot of people. Sure. So what does that look like? So we help them get the skills that they're going to need to hopefully go into the workforce and being contributing members of society. But the other part that I think is really unique, what we do in Pickaway County, we work with all 4 of our school districts to go into classrooms where they are trying to meet needs of kids with special education needs. And so we go in there and we look at the environment kind of holistically and go, okay, well, let's try this over here because we know that that's probably going to work. A lot of the teachers, my husband's a teacher. It is an exhausting job. It is a lot of work. And so it's really difficult sometimes to meet needs within classrooms. And so we're able to go in and not just impact 1 or 2 or 6 kids, we're impacting an entire classroom. And we're in all 4 school districts. So it's really, it's tough to lose those legacy programs, but it's so exciting to see what has grown out of that.
I know in recent years in talking with Pioneer Center in Ross County, and I'm sure it's probably been the same in Pickaway and other counties, where more special needs students are being integrated into the other schools. Yes. Has that not taken away the need for boards of DD, but has it obviously it's changed the way your operation goes.
Very much so, and I think when we used to really just operate schools, that was so easy for people to understand. A school is a school is a school. So you have students come in, you educate them. But what we do at county boards now is very different, and we actually have a far greater reach. So I don't think people necessarily understand county boards are serving kids birth through life, or not, so not kids, right? I worked with somebody who was 97 years old, and he had a developmental disability, and so he needed services throughout his life. So we're serving people within a huge spectrum of needs. But yes, as schools are getting better at serving children with special needs, the need to pull them into separate classrooms and separate spaces has gone away, and that is why a lot of schools are closing. When Brooks Yates finally shuttered its doors, which was 2-3 years ago, we had 6 students because they were absorbed into other school districts, or we weren't maybe the right place to educate them. So it really is. We are watching an evolution of services just in real time. It's really exciting for those of us working in the field.
So when the students age up, let's say past 21, 22 years old, in Pickaway County, are there employment opportunities like what we see in Ross County?
Yeah, very much so. So part of the narrative shift, part of what we talk about now is, hey, listen, the skills that people with disabilities show up with, they may look a little different than your average person who's coming in and submitting a resume. Those skills are still really important. And we have a diverse workforce. So we have people who, if you need somebody who's going to show up every single day, dedicated, enthusiastic, and really put a lot of effort into that work, we have people who can do that. We have people whose brains maybe work a little bit differently, and so they're able to fill these niche services or these niche needs within businesses. And part of what we as a county board do, we go around and ask people, hey, what do you need within your business? And then we go, oh, wait, I think maybe I have a couple people who could apply for that job. So we are trying to encourage the community to see the value of the diversity that comes with this particular workforce. Again, very exciting.
Yeah, Dan and I have talked about a man that we worked with at the radio station for decades, Clifford Brown. He's gone on to heaven now, but Cliff was with us for so long, and you talk about diligent. I mean, he came there to do a job. Yeah, he would cut up with us when we were joking around, but he knew he had a job to do, and he was faithful to get that job done every time he walked in the door.
Sure, and I think that's what that's exactly what we are talking about. We say, hey, listen, it's hard to find people who want to show up and do work sometimes, and I think if you ask any business right now, they're going to tell you that. We have a group of people who are excited for the opportunity, and when we talk about, if I'm meeting you for the first time, probably one of the first questions I ask is, hey, what do you do for a living? Because that's such a defining part of who we are. I mean, that's what I'm sitting here talking about, what I do for a living, right? And it's so important for each person to kind of have that piece of their identity. So it's good for people with disabilities, but it's also good for this community.
Yeah. So what are some of the other hats that Marie wears in Pickaway County?
I actually live in Chillicothe. I live 5 minutes from here, so this was the shortest work commute I've ever had. It was fantastic. So I actually live in Chillicothe, but I really have made Pickaway County my home base. So I'm involved in a couple different places. I actually just recently have stepped away from our Haven House board, which is our domestic violence shelter. One of our other board members has stepped onto that board, and so I switched him out a little bit. But so I've been really involved there, and have loved, so Haven House does certain things. We have a Valentine's Day dance, so I love going to the dance and dancing with everybody and raising some money for that. We do an annual fish fry. I always say I'm the fastest person running back and forth to take all those orders, so I hope I still get to do that. So involved with Haven House. Hopefully making a safer space for women who are in domestic violence situations. I work with CASA, so Court-Appointed Special Advocates. So I'm the chair of the board up there, and I like to think of us as small but mighty. And we're really just bolstering the work that is being done within CASA, so supporting children who are in some pretty tough situations to make sure that they have an advocate when they go into that court system. And then I volunteer at a lot of different places just because I like volunteering. It makes me feel good. So we have a local community kitchen. I like to go there and, serve some meals or prep some meals. That's been really fulfilling. If there's a committee, I tend to like to be on it. We have Family and Children First Council, Pickaway County Family and Children First Council. I've been active in that for years. Was the chair for an unprecedented 3 years, and I'm really proud of the work that we do there. Pickaway County, somebody told me the other day, like, well, every county says that, but I think it's true in Pickaway County. I think we really like each other and we get along, and it's a network of people who really do show up to take care of others. And I'm really proud of the work that we're able to accomplish that way.
Yeah. We all have a tendency as people to, define our turf. But when we go across the county line, and I had many opportunities in my radio days in the news department of going up and covering meetings every Monday in Pickaway County. Yeah. And, of course, I'm not doing that anymore, but every time I drive through Circleville or other parts of Pickaway County, my mind takes me back. And I miss that. I miss seeing a lot of those folks. So I guess if people in whatever county you're watching from, by all means, go and visit that community.
Yeah, and I think, for example, Pickaway County, that's an easy place to overlook. When I go to statewide events and I say I'm from Pickaway County, nobody has a darn clue where I am or what I'm talking about. I have to, kind of orient them to Franklin. Okay, we're right below that. But there is such energy in these places. And I think something that's really, again, as somebody who's working so often in Pickaway County, we're a growing county. Yeah. We are one of the most rapidly growing counties within Ohio. And so there is such opportunity there. And I have been proud personally to watch Chillicothe evolve. Mm-hmm. I keep saying evolve, but it's a good word. But I've been really proud to watch Chillicothe grow up, often with businesses that were developed by people that I went to school with. Mm-hmm. It's just this group of people that I know, and they're opening businesses and they're making changes happen and they're bringing back this vibrant downtown. That's been so neat to watch. And I'm seeing that energy pick up in Pickaway County. And I'm seeing people go, what are they doing down in Chillicothe? And how can we bring that up here? So there is, I hope that we become the next Chillicothe. I don't know, maybe that's not the right, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. But I hope that we become this place that is kind of a hub or an exciting area to go locally. We have wonderful people, and there is possibility there.
Yeah. But it's amazing how many ideas that have given birth here that came out of Pickaway County.
Oh, that's right.
Somebody saw something at the pumpkin show and said, we need to try something like that down here. So,
well, I am a firm believer that, you look around you, and I will never be the smartest person in the room, but I am not afraid to borrow, or I'm not afraid to say, okay, well, what is it that's working down here, and how can we replicate that, but with our own flavor? I think it's important to draw on our, each other, right? It's important to draw on each other. So, yeah, that's right. Sometimes cool things come out of Pickaway County, too. That's right, Chillicothe.
Well, I know Ross County has taken great pride in their fairgrounds over the years, but I know for a fact there's been some things seen at the Pickaway County Fairgrounds that Ross County saying, okay, we got to do that too.
I'm going to tell you, so to speak very specifically about that, so when we put in our new fairgrounds in Pickaway County, we spent a lot of time and energy and money, frankly, but working with the commissioners to make sure that this new space, which, man, it needed an overhaul. It was a real nightmare. But to make sure that space was going to be accessible for everyone. And what we've created is not just a place, again, so wearing my disability hat, not just a place that's great for people with disabilities, maybe some mobility needs. We had people telling us, hey, I was able to bring my grandpa who is in a wheelchair because this space was better, it was safe. So moms with strollers, right? So it's that universal design approach. It was freezing cold. I think it was in January. It was absolutely freezing cold, but I just did a tour of the fairgrounds here in Ross County because the Ross County Board of DD is doing some work to try to get the fairgrounds here in better shape. And the fairs are crowning glory here in Ross County, right? It's a really, and I have said 4-H, I was a 4-H'er. 4-H is a rite of passage for a lot of kids in this community, and we have to make sure that space allows everyone to participate and get those leadership skills and take those animals to the fair, right? Like that has to be a space that we really look at and figure out how it will work for everyone. And our fairgrounds are in a place, Ross County, where we need to make some of those changes. So I did actually get to do a tour, and they have some really cool projects that they're gonna, I think, have ready for this coming fair.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Who doesn't want to go to Pickaway County now? Just rub some of that off on me, man. Marie, we appreciate you being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, we're going to have her back. I need some of that energy, yeah. Marie Wilbanks, Director of Services for Pickaway County Board of DD, and also President of the Sunrise Rotary Club. We now know how she gets those guys going early in the morning. Our special edition for Pickaway County here on Litter Media Live has been brought to you today by Hometown Motors Incorporated. Don't forget to join Dan Ramey and I for our regular program at 11 o'clock this morning here on Litter Media. I'm Mike Smith.